Next on Worcester News Tonight, New Year's resolutions start tomorrow for many. We spoke with a few businesses who help keep people on track with their goals. Plus, two of Central Massachusetts' most popular breweries are teaming up to raise money for the Ava Roy Foundation. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Firefighters from several different communities battled a 3-alarm fire on Nursery Ave in North Brookfield tonight. You can see flames shooting from the roof. Firefighters responded around 3:30 and it took them more than 3 hours to put it out. One neighbor says 4 people lived in the 3-story home, and when he saw the flames, he ran outside.
Saw flames come out of the back of the house and people running out, so we tried to move their cars and stuff to get everyone out, make sure everyone was safe and out of the house. And there's just nothing they could do but wait for the fire department to show up.
There are no injuries reported. A Marlborough woman jumps into action to help save her neighbor after a fire broke out in her home. Our Rosalind Flaherty was there and has the details.
Chris Thornton says she was at the right place at the right time when her neighbor's mobile home caught fire in Marlborough.
They were shooting out like 3-foot flames coming out that east side.
She and another neighbor ran over to the burning home Sunday morning. When they got there, they saw a woman inside leaning out the window.
We got her out. The window was probably about 4 feet high. We gently put her to the ground, and my neighbor went around to make sure that EMS was coming and all that, and I stayed with her to make sure her airways stayed open.
Firefighters say a woman in her 60s is recovering from burns and smoke inhalation. Sadly, a dog and 2 cats died in the fire. Thornton says she couldn't believe how fast the flames spread.
It was fast and furious, and the thing went up completely in a matter of moments.
She says she didn't even think twice about going over to help and is thankful she was around.
She's a human being. She's a person. She's a neighbor. I would hope somebody would help me if I was in trouble.
That was our Rosalind Flaherty reporting. Democrats in Worcester weigh in on Senator Elizabeth Warren's announcement of seeking an exploratory committee for president. Worcester's District 2 City Councilor Candy Merrow Carlson has served as chair of the Worcester Democratic City Committee for 8 years. Carlson says she was one of the first volunteers in the city when Warren launched her campaign for U.S. Senate back in 2013. Carlson says she's excited by the idea of Warren running for president in 2020.
I think it will be very interesting because one thing about Elizabeth Warren is she's very, very good in the ring. You know, and if Donald Trump thinks he's going to bully her, that's just not going to happen. I think she's a terrific candidate because she fights for everybody.
As Senator Elizabeth Warren is taking the first big step towards launching a campaign for the White House, political reporter Allison King explains Warren is the first big-name Democrat to launch an exploratory committee.
I never thought I would run for anything ever in my life, but America's middle class is getting hollowed out, and opportunity for too many of our young people is shrinking. So I'm in this fight all the way.
Elizabeth Warren made her presidential aspirations official outside her Cambridge home alongside her husband, Harvard law professor Bruce Mann, and their dog Bailey. Warren goes into the 2020 race as a fundraising leader with more than $12 million in the bank. She has already started organizing in early primary states like New Hampshire and Iowa. And her message to voters is a clear one. She will fight for the dwindling middle class, rein in big banks and corporations, and hold government accountable. More questionable is her timing, months after her explanation of Native American heritage fell flat, even with some Democrats. And some feel she is too polarizing to win the general election.
The problem we've got right now in Washington is that it works great for those who've got money to buy influence. And I'm fighting against that, and you bet it's going to make a lot of people unhappy. But at the end of the day, I don't go to Washington to work for them.
Elizabeth Warren says she has already received contributions from all 50 states since announcing her exploratory bid this morning. In Cambridge, Allison King for Worcester News Tonight.
Support for the family of a fallen firefighter is growing. The Ava Roy Fund has surpassed $300,000. Now 2 local businesses are stepping in to raise money and raise a pint. Our Cam Jandro has the story.
Two Central Massachusetts beer makers are looking to brew up more support for the Ava Roy Fund.
And I think it was the morning after the news had hit, I reached out to Ben and said, what do you think? And he immediately said, absolutely, let's bring back Worcester's Bravest.
Wormtown and Wachusett breweries will be making a special batch of Worcester's Bravest to honor fallen Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy. The beer hasn't been produced since 2015.
Our head brewer, Dave Howard, is partnering with the Wormtown head brewer, Ben Roche, and they're going to work together making this beer this week.
It's a wit beer, so a lot of wheat, pretty hazy, but a lot of wheat flavor. You're not going to get much hop character out of it.
Roy died of injuries sustained while battling a 5-alarm fire on Lowell Street in early December. Before the beer was retired, proceeds from Worcester's Bravest were donated to fire-related institutions.
What better way to not only reunite with those guys and do something meaningful for the community, but also forward both Wachusett and Wormtown's connection to firefighter organizations.
100% of the money earned by Worcester's Bravest will go to the Ava Roy Fund. McMahon says he felt the need for his company to step up following tragedy.
It's on us to really have to step forward as leaders of this community in business and in the culture and our employees and our people that live in this community every day.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, it's almost the new year, and many are celebrating by picking up Chinese food. It's a popular meal for many on New Year's Eve. Takeout spots all over the city are seeing crowds tonight. Phones were ringing off the hook, and customers were going in and out of Hong Kong Island restaurant in Worcester. Customers decided to show up early Monday to beat the crowds.
So get it early, and we don't have to worry about traffic.
Just tradition.
And if you eat too much tonight, you may be ready to start that resolution tomorrow. In several hours, 2019 will bring a fresh start to those trying to make a change in their lives. Our Chandler Walsh explains.
Many have big plans for the new year.
Save money.
Work more hours and plan for the future more.
Health and Wellness Director Andy Sherry says it's the busiest time for new memberships at Worcester Fitness.
We're seeing about 5 people per day coming in for a new membership, and it's really exciting.
For people making fitness a resolution, Sherry recommends starting with a reachable goal of exercising 2 to 3 times per week. He says group classes are also a great way to have success.
You may find a bond with an instructor, you may find a bond with people you have in your classes. That becomes like an appointment. And that's a way to keep you coming to the gym.
Ember Chimelli wants to travel more in 2019.
Colorado, California, and Portland, Oregon.
AAA travel agent Linda Burke says some popular places to go will include Vietnam, Iceland, and Morocco.
They're coming into my desk and saying, I'd like to get away somewhere a little exotic or something a little bit different.
Burke says AAA's Club Adventures program offers global trips for small groups and services like price matching.
What we can see and is a lot faster than maybe what one person could be working on in the evening. We can take care of it right away.
Another top resolution, save money. Carr Financial Group says the new year is a good time to adapt to what's changed in your own life and in the finance world. President Richard Carr says visiting financial plans 2 times a year should be enough to keep goals.
Reallocating a portfolio to take advantage of changes that have occurred in the market or adapting your tax strategy to accommodate the changes in the law are all very important, and it's just a great time of year to do it.
People like Marcia Brown are optimistic for what 2019 will bring.
To make it better than last year.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
As 2018 comes to an end, we're taking a look back at some of the biggest stories of the year, from professional baseball's return to Worcester to the tragic loss of a firefighter. These are some of the stories that shaped Worcester over the last year. Worcester saw some exciting moments in 2018. Professional baseball was a rumor for more than a year. In September, it became a reality.
I am excited and pleased to announce that the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox will be coming to the city of Worcester.
Almost 2 years after voters supported legalizing recreational marijuana, the state's first retail shops opened in November. Cultivate in Leicester marking a milestone in the region.
This is a very historic moment for the state of Massachusetts.
It was also a busy year for the Worcester Regional Airport. 2 new flight destinations to New York and Philadelphia took off, and Massport announced Delta is expected to start flights to Detroit in the summer of 2019.
So much to do, so your options are limitless.
The city also experienced tragedy. Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy died while battling a 5-alarm fire at this Lowell Street apartment home. Roy was among a group of firefighters trapped on the 2nd floor. He's remembered as a great person and loving father.
Ava, you were your father's world. He moved heaven and earth to give you the best life possible that you deserved. He is so proud of you and will continue to be.
3 EF1 tornadoes hit central Massachusetts towns all within 10 days. Residents in towns like Upton, Douglas, and Webster saw damage this summer from 100-mile winds.
The shades were blowing through the window and you heard this noise sound like a freight train.
And the site of the former Notre Dame Day Canadiens church is now a vacant lot. Despite the effort to save the church by the Save Notre Dame Alliance, after 89 years, the church's steeples are no longer part of Worcester's skyline.
Knowing what I do now, I would probably do almost everything differently. I think we put up a good fight, but some of what we did apparently didn't work.